Hi, Laura. I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 3. So, I think that there is some good work in this essay. I can see a clear thesis statement on the Hunger Games. You have a very detailed summary of the characters. I see a little bit of analysis in this area, and I think that this. I think you're working on your final recommendation here. There are a few things here and there that I wanna talk to you about for revision. Notice that in the introduction, you never mention the film. You say Katniss is followed as she fights for her life in the deadly arena of the Hunger Games. So here is the title, right? But it's not clear to the reader that this is the title of the film. So I would go back through your introduction and make sure that you are actually stating the title of the film, right? Because note that people that are unfamiliar with the book or the film might think that Panem might be the title, right? It just feels like something is important that is left out here. I would say that your introduction is the place that needs the most work in that it's missing the title, and then you also bring in Katniss without any background information on her, right? You just kind of assume that the reader knows who this is. And since we're talking about the film, I would recommend actually bringing up Jennifer Lawrence sooner. But really, the bigger issue is that you need to introduce who this character is before you make this claim, along with what the film is. Um, and so it seems like you're making a comparison between how the director and the author handle these themes, and I think that's a good idea to do. Since you're talking about theme, I would recommend maybe one other idea that talks about why these themes, or perhaps why it's important to captivate the viewer, or why these themes are important for the reader to consider. So you give the reader quite a lot of summary, right? So this whole section is all summary. Um, you have a little bit of background information about the film, but your analysis of the themes really doesn't start until page 3. And so I kind of think that your mentioning of the techniques is interesting. The uh, special effects and the songs, I think that's interesting. But note that your thesis statement is talking about theme, and that really doesn't take off until this area. So I would recommend thinking about how you can condense just strictly summary information, and then how to more clearly start bringing in these themes and your points of analysis. So when I was reading your summary, I thought this point right here would be enough of the main summary. So to me, when you start introducing the individual characters, is probably where you also need to begin your analysis. But as it stands now, you're primarily just focusing on plot summary. I feel like you're kind of wasting space here. In the writing is fine for the most part in this area, but the reader, you're almost giving too much summary. And since this is such a short paper, it's a better idea to start emphasizing your uh, your themes. So since you're talking about how Katniss essentially sacrifices herself for her sister, that's the idea of family, right? So how can, when you introduce Katniss, talk about family in more depth here? Peeta really seems like he emphasizes love and friendship, right? Because he essentially takes care of Katniss even before they enter into the Hunger Games. So how can you use his character to emphasize your themes, right? Does that make sense? So what I would do is go back to this text, see this as your summary sentence, or sorry, summary paragraph, then break this idea off and rethink these whole sections as your analysis, and think about how you're emphasizing these points. I want to talk about a couple of sentence level issues here. I like the background information that you provide about PETA. Excuse me, but give this sentence another round of revision. Aim for a stronger subject here. Being a poor baker is making this an awkward sentence. So do some revision here. There was a couple other areas. Sorry. You've got a misplaced comma here. I would what you actually want to do here is go 2 children, comma, 1 male and 1 female, comma. You actually aren't including an item in a series. What you're doing right here is an interrupter, right? So your comma actually needs to go here. I also want you to, I'm trying to find the specific place. Yeah, here it is. Great. I want you to pay attention to your sentence, or sorry, your verb tense as well. So do your best to write in present tense as you've done here with your verbs, because it brings more immediacy to your writing, and it's the reader also. It's jarring to go from past tense to present tense. I think it's okay to stay in past tense here, but what I would say is Ross and Collins both create, actually, yeah, I'd say that both create this family of characters that bring a lot of passion, right? So staying in present tense, where you can, is always best. So to me, the main areas that you need to focus are expanding your analysis. So if this is really what your thesis is, you need to try to condense your summary and see how you can try to argue these points in your paper. And really, I wonder if this seems like a lot for you to try to unpack in such a short paper. So I would recommend maybe focusing on one of these themes, maybe 2 of these themes, and perhaps not all 5, because it's going to take some writing to defend, right, how Katniss's character reinforces the idea of family. And since you're also trying to make a comparison between the authors and the film, that's going to take a little bit more development here. So you do need to expand your analysis and condense your summary, but what I would recommend doing is maybe not trying to tackle all those themes. Maybe focus on 1 or 2. So I think you're going to have too much to work with otherwise. All right. I think it's off to a good start, though. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.